Bang Bang MMA gang. Now, UFC 308. Talk about a card. Now, as a kid, my mom told me once, money talks. And boy, does Saudi oil money talk. Now, there's not even one WMMA fight in this entire card. That's how much of a banger it is. We're gonna go through the whole card and who I think wins and why, and that is that. Starting off, we have Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Cerquera, and I'm going with Ibo Aslan. Now, this guy is he has like 13 wins, 13 knockouts. I watched this shit on the regional scene. I've seen some of his highlights. I watched some of his videos, his tape. This guy is a KO artist, most of them in the first round. His last fight, he showed grit. He took him to the third round, got the finish in the third. Rafael, on the other hand, he's good. He has a couple subs, he has a lot of finishes too, but I'm going with Ibo Aslan to start off the card with a brutal first round KO. Moving on, we have Bruno Silva versus Ismail Naurdiev. I'm going with Ismail Naurdiev. Now, Bruno Silva, he's what I like to call a journeyman that took Alex Pereira to a fucking decision, and nobody else is doing that nowadays. Like, what the fuck is going on outside of like Jan Blachowicz and that's about it. Like, who's taking Alex Pereira to decision? Bruno Silva somehow did it, and then, you know, some guys, that's just their career. Take a disgusting guy, a monster, to the decision while getting brutally flatlined by a fucking scrub. Lost to Bashar Bullet, lost to Chris Weidman. Bruno Silva, you're going to lose again to Ismail Naurdiev. I'm going Ismail Naurdiev by decision. Moving on. Renat Fakhretdinov was supposed to fight Nursultan Roziboyev. Now, I really wanted that fight. I'm a fan of Nursultan Roziboyev. It was going to be an absolute banger of a fight. Nursultan, you could say, got fraud checked, I guess, by fucking Joaquin Buckley. But, I mean, Buckley looks good nowadays. But outside of that, he's pulled out. Now we're seeing Leo. I'm going, like, off the bat, Renat Fakhretdinov, third round finish or decision, whichever one you choose. I am leaning towards Renat Fakhretdinov decision over Leo. Yeah, give me Renat by decision. Moving on. Yeah, let's not even go there. Farhad Basharat versus Victor Hugo. I'm going Farhad Basharat to stay undefeated over another journeyman, Victor Hugo. Give me Farhad Basharat by decision. Moving on. We have Kennedy, my Niger brother. My brother from Nigeria. I'm not even Nigerian, for those asking, or for those who will watch this video. But Kennedy versus Chris. I'm going with Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett, talk about somebody whose life's on the line. Like, when people say, put your life on the line, he's literally doing it. He's supposed to fight a week or two ago when he was, but the whole little tornado and like the hurricane stuff went down. He couldn't fight. He said, you know what? Fuck that. Give me on the next pay-per-view. Fuck it. Let's do it up. I'm going Chris Barnett. I would pick Kennedy, but I'm going Chris Barnett because I see somebody with the more bigger why. Now, is that the only reason that should go into picking a fight? No. But when it comes to the heavier weight classes, when it comes to guys that one punch can end it, or one kick in Chris Barnett's, or like one spinning heel kick in Chris Barnett's case can end it, I'm going with Chris Barnett by KO. Yes. By KO, a crazy KO, might be a high kick, something. It's going to catch Kennedy coming in, and that is that. Moving on. I really like this fight. Bruno Ferreira versus Abus Magomedov. Abus Magomedov is a guy, kind of like yesterday we saw Michel Pereira. He's good for the first round. He's a little better than Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira is good for the first exchange. If you defend the first minute, you're good. But Abus, we've seen it time and time again against Kyle Bohayo. We've seen him against Sean Strickland. The first round, if you can get him past the first round, he is going to fall. Like, he's going to crumble. Bruno Ferreira is a guy that we haven't seen his cardio tested really, like, a lot. But we've seen Bruno Ferreira. He's a radical, bro. He's gonna do a spinning back fist here. I think he just got a KO, spinning elbow or spinning back fist. That guy Bruno Ferreira is a wild card. He's really good. I think this fight goes over 1.5. Abus Magomedov is coming off a great win though, where he showed us a lot of top control. Like, I'm like, god damn, I know Abus Magomedov was moving like this. I know you're a whole little Dagestan and all that, but you got fraud checked early on. You came back. You showed a lot of grit your last fight. I know you were brutally tired in that third round. Showed top control. Showed us he has good ground and pound. Okay submission game. I like Abus Magomedov, but my pick is going to be Bruno Ferrer by KO, second round KO. And that is that. Moving on. We have Daniel Santos versus Said Nurmagomedov. I'm going straight off the bat, decision, Said Nurmagomedov. Moving on. We have our Poland brother, Mateusz Rebecki. Mateusz Rebecki. I like that name, Mateusz. Mateusz Gamrot, Mateusz Rebecki. Mateusz Rebecki versus Oral by. Now, I'm going with Oral by decision. Oral by is another one of those guys that showed me something. His fight against Elvis Brenner showed me that, oh my God, like, nigga, let me just pipe down, bro. But his fight against Elvis Brenner showed me, even when met with like punch, even when you're hurt against the cage, even when Elvis Brenner's constantly fishing for the underhooks, getting you off from him, you can't hold him against the cage that much, like like in the beginning. You showed me that you could dig deep, pause, you can move forward, you even knocked him down, and it is Elvis Brenner. It's not like a come to realization like, oh my God. It is Elvis Brenner. I like Elvis Brenner, but you did knock him down at the end of that round. I thought, in my opinion, Elvis Brenner could have won that fight if he didn't get the knockdown at the end, but you showed me you have okay striking. You have an okay gas tank, and you have very good grappling. I'm going with Oral by decision. Moving on. RDA versus Jeff Neal. Now, this is a pick'em. This is a pick'em. I can make a case for both guys, but I'm going with Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal, if he constantly, you got to push forward. Jeff Neal, push forward. Your fight against Ian Gary showed us when you're gun shy, you fight like a fucking scrub. Push forward. Stop being gun shy. RDA was having a lot of success against Mateusz Gamrot. He even dropped Mateusz Gamrot, but he struggles with wrestling. He struggles with if a guy has strong wrestling. We saw what Vicente Luque did to him. Took him down, held him down for a little bit. Was even having trouble striking against Vicente Luque. Held him up against the cage. Jeff Neal, if he wants to make this a dirty, gritty, hold on, clinch type of fight, he can win this fight. I'm going with Jeff Neal. Your back is against the wall. Your ranking is against the wall. Moving on. Now, the main card, starting off with Armen Petrosyan versus Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet, this is a big test, dude. This is another pick'em. Armen Petrosyan is really good. Shara Bullet, we've seen Shara Bullet constantly. We've seen him struggle against Bruno Ferrer. Michel Olejniczak, he got him out of there. He got that, I forgot, man, that tall guy that was like on 3 days notice. You got him out of there. He was a walking fucking zombie, walking statue. You got him out of there. But Armen Petrosyan can switch it up. Armen Petrosyan can wrestle, grapple, and strike. Armen Petrosyan he has good wins. Armen Petrosyan is going to march forward. Shara Bullet, this is going to be, in my opinion, his biggest challenge so far in his career. I'm going with Shara Bullet mostly because I want him to win. Is it bias? Who the fuck cares? I'm going with Shara Bullet. I think Shara Bullet can get even a finish. It's going to be a 3-rounder. I'm going Shara Bullet, second round finish. He's going to throw a high kick that catches him. TKO up against the cage. Moving on. My fight. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Now, I'm going to do a full video on this, but my pick is Alexander Rakic by finish. Alexander Rakic is one of those guys where people forget. Like, he fucking had a good first round against Yuri. He has good fights. He has good wins. He has KO power. He's a good striker. And the number one thing he has over Ankalaev is calf kicks. He's going to beat up that calf. Ankalaev, Your back is against the wall. I'm going to make a full video on this fight. This fight really intrigues me. This fight and the KHAMZAT fight, I'm going to make full videos on them. I'm going with Alexander Rakic by KO. You're going to be reaching in for a double leg after he chews up that calf. He's going to get a knee up the middle. I'm going with Alexander Rakic by finish in the second round. On. Dan Ige, Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, you will pay for what you did to Edson Barboza. You didn't even really do much. He hurt you early on really bad, and you just put on a 5-round clinic. It wasn't even a clinic. You just kept hurting him, digging him to the body. You couldn't even get him out of there. You fucking suck. We hate you. You have no losses on your career. It's going to be your first one. Dan Ige, I know this is not the Andre Feelys of the world where you're going to just get the brutal KO, but Dan Ige has a different swagger, bro. Pause. That sounded hella corny. But Dan Ige is different. The Dan Ige we saw against Diego Lopez that took him to 3 rounds, that if that was a full camp, maybe you could have even beat Diego Lopez. Dan Ige power, striking. I think Dan Ige has more power than Lerone Murphy. This fight reminds me exactly of Rob Font, a better version, but Rob Font versus, yesterday we just saw Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. I think Lerone Murphy is in Kyler Phillips' shoes, where he's the undefeated guy, he's the upcoming prospect. All these guys are scared to fight me, quote unquote, and you get brutally finished, even though Rob Font didn't finish him, but he's going to get finished by Dan Ige. Dan 50K Ige is going to get this finish in the first round. Everybody's dry. No grappling needed. Nothing against the cage. We're not holding. We're not clinching. It's going to be a striking war in the first round. Dan Ige catches him with an overhand right, sending him to La La Land. He's going to go out snoozing, and that is that. Moving on. Now, for this fight, I'm going to make another video on it. This fight and the Ankalaev fight, I'm going to make a full video on these 2 fights. But my pick for this fight is Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is going to beat KHAMZAT CHIMAEV. He's going to take him, like we said, Anthony Hernandez versus Michel Pereira. If you can't get the finish early on in that first round or that start of the second round, you will lose to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Same goes for KHAMZAT CHIMAEV, Robert Whittaker. I think Robert Whittaker will be able to survive the first 2 rounds. The first round, the first 2 rounds. As we go into the third, KHAMZAT CHIMAEV is going to start huffing and puffing because he knows his cardio is trash. Trash ass cardio. Trash cardio, bro. And your striking is going to go from uppercut here, overhand here to, ooh, you're a little bit slower. I even think, believe it or not, 3rd round, 4th round, Robert Whittaker takes him down. He's holding him against the cage, takes him down, and gets the TKO on the ground. KHAMZAT CHIMAEV fighting off Herb Dean, whoever's reference, telling him, fight back, fight back. And Robert Whittaker gets the finish over KHAMZAT CHIMAEV. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Jerome Max Holloway versus Ilia El Matador Topuria. I'm going Max Holloway. Max Holloway, 4th round TKO. He is going to take Ilia into deep waters. Now, is Ilia dangerous all 5 rounds? Yes. He is not like KHAMZAT and like a Michel Pereira. He actually has cardio, but he doesn't have the 5-round cardio. People say, well, look at the Josh Emmett fight. Josh Emmett, he wasn't getting hurt back. It wasn't a war. It was a beat down. So when you're obviously pushing the pace and the guy you're pushing the pace has no, like, his whole energy is gone and he's beat up, it makes sense you can last 5 rounds. But first of all, we've seen Max knock down Volk with that left high kick twice. We've seen Jai Herbert knock Ilia down with it. I'm telling you, mark my words, Max puts on a virtuoso against Ilia Topuria. I even see Max trying to fish for a takedown. Like Bryce Mitchell has success against Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria has believe it or not, insane jiu-jitsu. Like I'm talking about his back takes are really good. Excuse me, his fucking he has a good darce, good anaconda. He fishes for the neck. He has a good rear naked choke. His body triangle's kind of sus, bro. He doesn't have a good body triangle because his legs are so fucking short. But Max is hella skinny. He's going to get it if he wants it. But he has a good darce. I don't want Max leaving his neck out for it. I don't think he'll jump guillotine at all. But if they're on the ground and he's turtle, he'll switch to a darce. He'll find something. But I think Max puts on a striking virtuoso. Just the volume. And in the fourth round, he ends him in the fourth round. He gets to finish in the fourth. Jerome Max Holloway becomes featherweight champion again. I'm going to make a full video on this one too, but I think he beats Ilia, turns around, fights Volk in February. Or is it February in Australia? Beats Volk. And we have to have a sit down after that. But anyways, yeah. Ilia loses to Max in the fourth round, TKO. As he's lunging for like an overhand, Max catches him in the chin. TKO. Max Holloway champion, and that is that. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. The MMA gang is in, and that is that.